I'm a little bit bored with personal brands, particularly as they are now. And I say that as someone who has been kind of working for myself for the last 30 years. I've been a translator, I've been a copywriter, I've been a brand storyteller, I am now. And it sometimes seems like the entire industry is a scam. You know, you get the impression that the people that make the money from personal brands are the people telling you how to do a personal brand. And you know the advice: post consistently, find your niche, tell your story, be authentic, use hooks, optimize for the algorithm. Well, nothing of that is particularly wrong. But if everyone takes the same generic advice, doesn't everybody sound the same? Safe, interchangeable, just like the top 40 or the Billboard 100. Engineered not to offend anybody, to appeal to everybody. Commercially, that's kind of fine, but no one's grandmother is lying on their deathbed pining for the latest algorithmically optimized content. Advice has to become less specific to scale, and because the more people you reach, the more you have to round off the edges. But isn't at the edges where the magic lies? Here's what it looks like in practice. You take a random fictitious 53-year-old HR director, 25 years inside organisations. You can walk into a room and know exactly within 20 minutes whether the culture is broken, or at a structural level or an interpersonal level. Almost no one can do that. So what's the advice to him or to her? Pick a lane. Be an HR consultant, a transformation specialist, a leadership coach, any one of those. The moment they do that, they become one of 4,333 other people on LinkedIn with the same title, exactly the same, or slightly different rather, shade of blue in the banner. The framework didn't fail because she applied it wrong. It failed because it was built to simplify. And the value lives entirely in the complexity. That's not a niche, it's a reputation. And reputations are built differently because brands are, if nothing else, reputations. And in so many ways, AI made it worse. Here's a post that you could generate with any AI program anytime you like. 5 lessons I've learned from failure. Number 1, embrace vulnerability. Number 2, trust the process. Well, send me to sleep now, You've read it how many times? 500 times, 600 times. You scroll past before you get to the first sentence. It's all technically correct. There's nothing wrong with it. Structurally sound. Utterly empty, utterly vacuous. No one home, no one cares. Roll on to the next one. Stick a nice headshot on it, some brand colours, post 3 times. Your job's a good one. Not a brand, not a reputation, nothing. It's just a presence. Who cares? So why aren't people more real? Why are people avoiding being real? Because it means being vulnerable. It means exposing something real, And I was like that for 25 years. I lived in France. I worked in 2 languages. I built a career. Spent most of the time in the background because I simply thought I wasn't good enough. In that freelancer sea of shame, perhaps it was a sea of shame. No, the sea of same. Following the template guaranteed I stayed invisible. What people don't realise is that what you think is ordinary, somebody else is going to think is extraordinary. Your bland, mundane, everyday stuff, people are going to say to you, wow, you did that, did you? I've had it a few times myself. I think, well, yeah, I did. But that's nothing to you. What's nothing to you can be someone quite extraordinary to everybody else. So the gap between what you see in your own story and how others receive it, well, that can be quite large. Generic advice is not going to get you there. A framework is not going to get you there. What gets you there is the specific, unreplicable, lived experience that is just yours. It's the thing that you've done that nobody else has done. It's your take, it's your ideas, it's your story. What gets you there, actually really there, is being specific. Every personal brand is, when it comes down to it, just that, personal. There's a link in the description to a free email course if you want to work out exactly what you've got in your backstory, in your life, in your lived experience that makes you unique. And if this means something to you, well, just subscribe, because there's loads more of this coming. I've got loads in this old head of mine. You know it makes sense.